So today I come with my topic, which is, it's called Let's Do This. That's how it's called. Or, just one second, or ways to help students feel motivated to achieve their goals through distance learning. Again, my name is Andreina Ramos from ARamos Learning, and for our fourth conference here at UONEDU. And yes, I don't have my papers. One second. So, according to Harmon, St. John, and Drawn, motivation is viewed relatively, or it's viewed as a stable characteristic of the learner. And it is also viewed that online learners are intrinsically motivated. And that we can relate with what Alessia just said. So there's another approach, according to them, in motivation that concentrates on the design of the online learning environment to encourage optimal learning motivation. And we can relate that, and I'm very glad this happened, to what Dr. Metmek said at the beginning, what we were talking at the beginning of this. This was from a beautiful article. It is from a beautiful article from Erudit. It's a nice publication. This is from 2011. That was a completely different context and time. It was 10 years ago, but even if it was a different context, the concepts are certainly valid and current. So now, the current situation that we're living in might have, might have been an awakening moment in regards of what learning, education, and also employment is for many people. Maybe not for some of us who have been working on developing online teaching for some time now, but most certainly for a very large group of the population who had to get ready for this in a very short period of time. So now they are self-directed learning, self-motivated, and self-determined all of a sudden. So what this has most certainly brought us, all this situation that we're living, pandemic, being at home, all this, and this new world that's not so new, it's just that we're more aware of it, is that we must, or the need to be, I would say the constant need to keep our students and also to keep ourselves motivated to be engaged or to get engaged in on distance learning or online learning. So how do we motivate these reluctant students to engage or even begin to engage in a distance learning environment if motivation is something that comes from within? What is it that we do? What is our role? How do we do it? Well, our motivation begins where our own goals and purpose begin. Our identity as educators define ourselves. So I have to say that motivation goes beyond, way beyond a pat in the back, and goes beyond, well done, you're doing so great, you're so fantastic, yay. It goes beyond that, because motivation must have a purpose, because learning has a purpose, and so does teaching. So we must engage in that purpose. It is that engagement, it is our engagement, what ends up putting food on our table, regardless of where we teach. If we teach at a university, at the university level, or if we teach at a kindergarten, those students are our clients and our teaching is our product. And we have to elevate it. We have to elevate ourselves to that, which we are not taught that at the university. We are not taught anything about it. We are just taught to be academic. So let's elevate that and that thought. So now I am telling you here either the biggest lie ever told or a very possible truth, which is motivated teachers make motivated students. Or do we? Do we make motivated students? Have you ever had that 14-year-old who's looking at you like this while you are trying to teach the class, and then you're like, because the verb is with a 14-year-old, because they can, teenagers can't cause that on an adult any day like this. So how can we move through that, pass through that, go through that with our own motivation? Because it turns out that our own motivation begins where our own goals and purpose begin. Our identity as educators will define our motivation. Without us knowing who we are as educators, it will be much harder to engage with our students, to guide them through their process and through their motivation process, if we don't know who we are. My name is ARamos Smart Language Learning. I use the SMART technique. That's not a secret. Many people use it for exercising. It's about specific goals, measurable goals, achievable goals, relevant goals, and timely goals. So that defines me. That's what I want, Andreina, with my students, to achieve with my students. We'll talk about this a little bit more. Yes, I have time. So now Larry Ferlazzo, he's an English teacher in a high school in Burbank, California. He talks about the 4 elements of intrinsic motivation. And they're very, very interesting. They are autonomy, and we have to remember that it is the learner's process. We can be as involved and passionate, but it is their process. So we have to remember that. So giving the student the power of choice is important. Having options of materials, just like Professor Mehmet said, giving them options of materials, Quizlets. We have to have videos, social media, websites with the same topic, but the same topic in different platforms, so they can choose according to their learning style or ability. And then we have competence, and this is the feeling that one has the ability to be successful in doing something. So if we are wording an activity or doing an activity very, if we're wording it complicated and the student is like, I'm not sure, and we see some, I'm sorry, I'm admitting some people, if the student is struggling, it's time to also evaluate ourselves. It's not always the student, it can be ourselves. So we have to help them feel competent. So we have to do some self-assessment on ourselves as well. Then there's the relatedness, which is helping them feel related to the goals by being able to do activities on their own. In a classroom, it would be about connecting with others. But it's us. We have to connect with them. We have to transcend the screen. We have to transcend. We are worlds apart. They might be in Taiwan. They might be in Milan. They can be even 3 states away from us, but we are apart. So we have to transcend that. And so having a student outside of the classroom is more challenging, but keep in touch, send emails, be active in your blogs, in your vlogs, on your social media, answer messages. And then there's the relevance, and it's not always about the lesson and your lesson plan. It is learning, as well as we well know, is a process that creates, so we need to create windows of opportunities for them to express what it is that they want to learn. So we can open up a little bit. And in conclusion, if there's anything that I would like for you to take from this presentation of mine, is that we must have our own identities and goals defined so we can be the cornerstone of it all. Because motivation, student motivation, begins and starts by us. Thank you very much. You're more than welcome to clap using your reactions. Thank you very much.